If it's Christian, we're talking about it. This is the Mike Charleston Show.
Alrighty, well, welcome to another episode of the Mike Charleston Show. I am Mike Charleston, and I'm joined with Sarah Charleston over here.
Hey, guys.
To my right, and there's Chuck.
Hey.
Chuck is back.
So I am. It's on again, off again relationship.
Yeah, the discipline finally worked, and he's back. No. So this week, if you haven't been following the news, we don't usually do current events or anything like that. But the weather has been brutally cold.
Yes.
So,
matter of fact, that's why I wasn't here last time.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And it's lasted. We had a little warm spell, like a day or so, and then it went right back to the cold weather. And
I don't remember the warm spell, but you
so.
work outside, so I'm gonna trust you.
It was a little bit
it was nice.
Right. At least it's been sunny.
Yeah.
So sunny and cold, I can deal with. Wet, cold, that's tough. So, anyways, as we've been dealing with this weather and just not wanting to go outside, we're trying to think of something to do for the podcast, and I came up with this idea of, well, hey, since it's cold outside, why don't we talk about when your heart starts to go cold towards the Lord? And I said 10 items, but Sarah didn't like my 10 items, I guess. So she came up with her own. And so I'm curious to what you came up with. Yes. I don't know. I don't know. So she came up with her own thing here. And but we're going to be talking about things, your heart kind of going cold towards the things of God. So on the spectrum, like I was asking Chuck before we got on, and he was like, cold? I've never been cold. And I'm like, well, we're not talking dead, like you're on the floor, needing CPR, but maybe some people are at that place. I don't know.
So it'd just be lukewarm, like the church in Revelation?
It starts to go that way, but then it gets colder and colder. And a lot of these things, it just takes time it doesn't take 2 days. Let me just put it that way. Okay, that's a hint from a previous conversation we had.
Anyway, so it is a slow fade, is what you're saying.
Is that your song of the week?
It isn't, but that is a good song. Okay. If you don't know that one, you should look it up. But anyway.
Slow fade.
But that's kind of how it works.
Yes.
It's one step. And I think we know that even from relationships, in marriage.
Yeah, I was going to say this works out for marriage.
In marriage, yes.
It works out for other relationships that if you're not intentional, it's like Chuck was, maybe I shouldn't just put him on the spot, but you were saying how you're busy doing things lately and you just have to focus on you and your wife.
Yeah, I was
not you. But
with Jeannie, we were discussing that, we got to give ourselves some more focus because obviously it's been a time in our life where it's been a lot of focus on her parents and their elder. Specifically her elderly dad, who's not in great shape. So been a lot involved with that, and it's just a time that takes a lot and doesn't leave a lot of time for us.
Right.
Yeah. And
not that things are bad.
Not that things are bad, but you don't want them to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the thing is the preventative. If you don't want them to go bad, then you pay attention to the signs. And like when you were just saying, it was like, hey, we need to pull back here and focus on us. Well, the same thing can happen with Christ. You get busy. You get even busy doing His work. Yeah. You can or service, as we were talking about earlier. I'm trying not to laugh. This is
good. So this is when you think about people,
Sarah's not going to let me go there. Huh?
Getting cold towards God or towards the things of God.
Because Sarah's never been cold. But
anyway, so some things come to mind. So I don't know what you would think, Chuck, would be something that comes immediately to mind. But I think, for one, starting with, and you don't have to make faces at me when I'm talking, things like prayer become more mechanical. Either you don't pray, or when you do pray, it's sort of let me just go through my list, check the boxes, or whatever. Same thing with reading the Bible. It's not something you look forward to doing, kind of like Psalm 119, verse 97, David says, "Oh, how I love thy law. It is my meditation all the day." And so some of us would say that's not really where we are, where it's just, I love it. I look forward to opening up the word and what am I going to find? It's life, and it's everything that I want in life is found right here in knowing God. And some of us at different times in our lives, that's not really the truth.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Babe?
Okay. No, it's because I don't think Sarah's ever had that feeling. But anyway, there are times where you're just you can't get enough of the scriptures. You're reading, things are just popping out at you, and it's just like, wow. And then for whatever reason, and I don't necessarily have all the answers of why this happens, but sometimes maybe you get distracted. There's a lot of things happening at work, or maybe just a bunch of things you're doing, and the time level is not there. And so it just slowly fades away, and it's not the same. And not that that's necessarily a bad thing, kind of like Chuck was saying with his relationship with his wife there. It wasn't bad, but you just got busy doing other things, and you sit back and look at it and go, hey, we need to check ourselves here, and let's pull back and spend some time. And same thing with that. You're reading the word, things are just coming alive, and then sometimes it just isn't. But you still make an effort to go. And that's why I think some not church disciplines, that was the last episode, right? No, some of these spiritual disciplines, these spiritual exercises come in handy, because when you were given an example, babe, of, singing, and you didn't feel like it one time, and what? And so, but the kids asked you to sing a song, and you sang, and you were glad to do it at the end of it. And most of the time, I don't regret doing some of these things when I don't feel like it. So if I don't feel like, and we don't base our lives on feelings, but I don't feel like listening to something or whatever, but someone sends me something to listen to, and I go ahead and listen to it, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I learned something. It encouraged me, and it made me think of other things. I've never been like, man, I wish I didn't listen to that, or didn't wish I, didn't sing that song or anything like that.
No, I think it's exactly right. I think you hit on it. It is a feeling. It's a place where you get into this whole lull of everything, where you just don't feel a closeness. You don't feel like you know that. Especially if you've been there before. I mean, I guess you got to be able to see it. You have times where you have, you like you're saying, you're really looking forward to getting into the Word and studying and find something, and then just get to this point where you just don't feel that. But yet, what do you do at that point?
Well, I think that's also part of the problem, is that when it was a lot, it felt like a certain way, and so then you move on to a different study, and it doesn't quite feel that way. So you just kind of like, and you kind of let it go. Those feelings aren't always going to be the same every single time. So we have to be aware of that maybe, going through Romans of a specific time, it was like, wow, it was just, everything was changing. Or like you're going through Revelation, a Bible study right now, and it might be like, wow, this is a lot of neat stuff that's going through. So then the next Bible study, you're like, I can't wait. So what if it's not the same feeling? And then we just kind of like, it's a big letdown. And then we just like, let's find something else that gives me that feeling. We're chasing endorphins, right? Whatever they're called. I don't know.
Yeah,
happy
pretty much.
feelings.
Well, I mean, that is, I think, where a lot of the problem is that it's feelings based. And as a Christian, it's the Bible says without faith, it's impossible to please God. So we walk by faith, and we do things by faith, not by feelings. It's not by, so I think so often, and I think people take two different turns there when they get to that place where they don't feel like it. Some people just decide to close the book and they don't even read it. Others will, I don't feel like it, but I'll just read it anyway, which I think is the right thing to do. And I mean, obviously, hopefully you don't stay there. Hopefully when you do choose to sing the song, or you do choose to read, life comes from that. But sometimes it might take a time or two, but it's like, but no, I'm going to continue to do the right thing.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not laughing. This is good.
So let's address that, okay? Because Mike's not laughing by laughing.
That's true.
But the reality,
right?
The difference makeup between a man and a woman.
Yes.
I think that this would be the same situation, that probably guys have this happen more often than guys.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like we were talking earlier, and I don't have any empirical data necessarily, but I do feel like when you're looking at a room full of addicts, it's going to be more guys. People get obsessed by things. It's going to be more guys. Not that women can't. And it's not a good thing, but guys, I think by nature are geared toward that, and so us guys have to be more aware of it, and so by nature we get focused singly on one thing, and so it's on the Lord. It's great. It's just completely on the Lord, and then but if it's our cars or our sports teams or whatever it is, it can start to get sidetracked a little bit, and we have to be aware of when that is starting to take over a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't know because you're not a guy, but Chuck, you know what I'm saying, right?
I do. Yeah. I mean, it can be. I mean, it could be something like you're saying, where it's an enjoyable thing that we're doing that's taking up time. That's really could be considered a time waster.
But you want to give Sarah's example?
Okay.
One of her examples. She was saying that sometimes when she plans for vacation, she spends a little bit too much time planning on the vacation. I was like, babe, that's not at all what we're talking about.
But to be fair, what we're talking about is people's hearts growing cold towards the things of God, where you just don't have the same passion that you once did. And we each know our own hearts, and you might look at what I do and what I say, and you might make certain judgments about me, but I know my own heart. And so I know sometimes that maybe I'm just doing something more out of duty, and it's like, it looks good on the outside, great.
I get that.
Congratulations.
And I know I'm kind of laughing because honestly, I don't think Sarah has ever struggled with this at all in her whole life. But that's what I appreciate about is like she has such a sensitive spirit about this that when something does creep in, as little as a bad attitude towards something or whatever, she can quickly notice that and take care of it. And I do appreciate that. And I wish I shouldn't say I wish, that sounds funny, but I wish that was in my life a little bit more, where I recognize it a lot quicker and could combat that a little quicker. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're doing this episode for, is that it just slowly, maybe you're not completely there cold, you're frozen, whatever, but you are slipping and you don't realize it. And these are some things to pay attention to. How are these things? Are you basing it on feelings? Is it based on your actions? You know, or what is it based on? You know,
and I think we could identified an issue here, that one of the things that can, one of the symptoms that can cause this is spending time on something that's taking up more of your time than necessary.
Right.
Whether it be something frivolous as following a sports team or working on a car, or something for planning a vacation. You know, in your own life, something is taking place of that time, or you're allowing that to occur. And it could be something frivolous. It could be something that's service. I mean, I think if we look at churches and this idea of churches, oftentimes the service to things, the plans that are made actually sometimes can get so much that it'll distract from what people really need to hear from God.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. No, and speaking of churches, I think one of the big problems with churches today is that it's all geared toward women, and it's not geared towards men. And so men are already struggling with kind of feelings toward God. You know, guys have a hard time grappling with feelings and in general. And so it's a little bit easier maybe with their spouse in their marriage, because it's someone they can talk to and all that. But, you know, with God, some guys really struggle with that because it seems very mystical. And when you start singing songs about, you know, come sit on my lap, or touch my face, or seek my face, or, you know, let me know the kisses of your mouth, you know, and stuff like that. It just gets weird, you know, and guys are like, what are we talking about? What are we doing? You know? And so it's geared towards more of a woman, and then the message gets up and it's really nothing. A lot of churches today, there's no meat, there's nothing, no substance there. And so guys can easily get into a pattern of just doing the motions, and so can women, but especially guys. And that's why, as guys, as leaders of our homes, we should be more of the ones that initiate that in our own homes, in our own lives, and even more so, and not depend on the church, because the church is not going to cater to what you really, really need. You've got to do that for yourself, just like in your marriage, in your relationship, your workplace, wherever it is. Other people aren't going to do it for you, so you have to be able to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what else you have?
Well, so I found this acronym.
Acronyms are good.
And this is an acronym for drift, because, you know, that's kind of what we're talking about,
drift.
People drifting.
Yeah.
Yay. So they have the D is distracted from Jesus and his gospel. And of course, I think that's a huge thing, is just distraction. I think the enemy will use that in all of our lives in different ways.
What'd you say? Okay, distraction.
Okay. Ha ha. And then the R is refusing to repent. And
Oh, wow.
I know that.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Well, it is. But sin, if you look at Hebrews
Yep.
3:12 and 13, it says, "Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief and departing from the living God. But exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin." And so sin is a huge problem. And I feel like for a lot of people, often if you look at the root of maybe what caused them to start drifting and to start getting cold
probably
towards
sin.
God, there's sin,
Right.
that they don't want to repent from, that they want to make excuses for, oh, it's not that bad.
Well, it
or-
goes back to the garden. So, where's Larry? Going back, to the garden. But what did Adam and Eve do? So when they sinned, it would make sense to go to the one that can forgive you. Mm-hmm. But instead, it's in our human nature to hide and to withdraw, even from our spouse. If I've wronged you, it's because of pride. I don't want to immediately, go to you, say I'm sorry. So I'll try to make it up to you. I'll buy flowers or something. I don't buy flowers, but you know what it is. I try to do something that you like to kind of make up for whatever.
Put away all the tools in the room or something.
Put away the tools. Hey, wait a minute, that wasn't to make up for anything.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we want to hide away,
Right.
And
You're not going to restore. You're not going to be able to restore a relationship until you're willing to come back and address
Yes.
it and being able to actually come and,
Yeah.
in this case, if it's sin, repent of the sin.
Right.
But the relationship's damaged. You got to do something to repair the relationship before you're going to be able to move forward.
yeah, and the good thing is we know we're forgiven. We read the scriptures, Christ has forgiven us. He took sin and put it on the cross. Why do we still struggle with that? Not coming to Him when we have failed. It's shame. That's what it is. It's shame. It's embarrassment. That's what it is. So we have to recognize that. And I know, because I've been there, and I think Chuck has been there. I don't know about Sarah. But, okay, no, just
All right,
messing.
distraction, repent.
Yes.
And
What's
then
that?
the I is intentional acts of disobedience, which I feel like just goes with the sin
That sounds
too.
like sin.
I know. So I'm like, okay.
All right, so I'm just refusing to do what I know I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I
But
mean-
it works for the acronym, so
Yeah,
let's
they
keep
need
going.
something for I on that one. I don't get that.
Because I feel like intentionality is a big deal, but the way
The other way, I would send it for the cure.
Right. Yeah,
But-
exactly.
okay, but intentional
anyway,
sin, whatever.
had to fit. So sorry, I didn't come up with
that's
this. Then the F is for fake fellowship. You plaster the smile on, you
Yep.
say the right things, you whatever, but it's all just
Well, that's what
fake.
you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the tulip. Yes,
Yeah.
if one makes sense, the other one definitely makes sense because if my heart is starting to drift, whether it is from my wife or from God or whatever, I'm going to put on everything's fine, but usually
Buy the flowers and just move on.
But usually my wife can tell when something's wrong,
Right.
Yeah.
And guess what? God knows
For sure.
You're right.
Yeah.
So you're not faking Him out. But yes,
Yeah.
so the F was
And then
fake.
Fake fellowship.
Fake
and then
fellowship.
the T is treasuring something or someone more than Jesus.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
idolatry,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That- so
Yeah, and
treasuring.
that's
What Chuck was saying earlier.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah,
In all
obviously.
of our lives, there are definitely times that we treasure things more than Christ.
But
And
why? Why do we do that?
That's a great question.
Oh, okay.
I
That was
mean-
what you're supposed to ask,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
Oh, why?
Yeah, I know. That is the question. Why is it? Because we all know what's real. We all know what really matters. And when this world is all, when we leave this earth, what does it matter whether this team won? What does it matter whether, I kept a perfectly clean house and all my closets were completely organized? Who cares?
Are we talking about
it's
our house?
No. That's anyway, so it's we know on paper, we know in our heads what matters and what doesn't matter, but yet these things creep in and become bigger and bigger and bigger in our lives and in our thoughts and in, the things we listen to and read and go look up and whatever. And it's but why is that? Because it's not, we know in our heads it doesn't matter, but yet in our actions, that is what matters.
Well, I think it's because we want to be accepted by groups of people. And so the people that are in our lives are interested in different things. And so it's only natural that we get interested in things. And that's why it's important for us to get together. And when we get together for church, it is the expressed purpose to encourage one another in the Lord. not to encourage them in the saints. Not when I say the saints, I mean the New Orleans saints. Not to encourage them in, entertainment or things like that. Not that we can't talk about those things, but the sole purpose is to edify one another in the Lord. And because we need it. We need that edification because there is peer pressure. And there's good peer pressure and there's bad peer pressure. And I think we get bored sometimes. And I know I've been bored, and I know that sounds awful, and you're like, how can you get bored with the things of God? Well, you read as much as I have, and you've studied as much as I have on some of these things. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, I've heard this before. I've read this before. Give me something new. And that's a dangerous place to be, where you're just
talking about being bored from what you're reading, what you're understanding, or just bored in life in general. Because I don't remember the last time I was bored.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm talking about specifically the things of God. So life, I can fill my life with things that aren't boring. But even that can get boring, depending on what you're doing. But hey, let's talk about justification by faith. And I'm like, yes, that topic I know in my head is exciting, but I have talked about this over 500 times, and so I like certain movies, but if I talk about it 500 times, I might be like, can we get to a different thing, And so sometimes I think that is part of the reason too, is that someone who, like me, I went to Bible college and for the express purpose of studying the scriptures. And you have to be very careful about that because you can have a superiority complex, I've already read this stuff. I already know this stuff. And it's very important. There was a young man in our fellowship years ago that was like, I don't know how I can share in the fellowship because you guys already know everything. And I'm like, that's probably true. That probably is true. You're probably not going to share something that I've never heard before. That's okay, because I still need to hear it. 95% of what you're going to share, I've probably already heard because I've read a lot of stuff. I've heard a lot of stuff. But the point is not to bring something that I haven't heard before. That's not the point. Right. The point is to refresh my memory or to be excited because you're excited about something, because you're experiencing this for the first time. And it relives in my mind the first time that I lived it, and I'm excited now because of it. So it's not about getting new information. And I think that's the deception is like, I've already read this, I've already done this. But when we start to become unthankful, and forgiveness, I got that. I'm like, that's a real bad place. So you should check yourself if you're feeling like that. That's a step of going towards a cold heart. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. So I think we all know signs that we are getting colder, that we're, the disinterest, the doing things out of duty. Like you can go look at the temperature in the house, and that tells you the gauge right there, right? Exactly.
So spiritually, we can go to the little gauge, the Nest thermostat?
Yep, we can. Okay. And unfortunately, we can't just program it like,
turn it on.
Sunday morning, heat things up,
That's right.
But I guess, what things in your life have you done that helps you to get out of that lull,
so once you
valley?
actually realize, hey, am I in this situation? If you listen to this and you feel like, hey, I kind of feel like where I'm at right now, what do you do about it?
Right.
Yeah. So, really, now we go back to the idea of, we've talked about before, it's not required that you got this checklist that you're doing A, B, C, and D as a Christian. Yeah. But those Christian disciplines are what actually bring you back in the relationship. Just like if you had a relationship with an individual, you got to take steps to restore. Yep. And they're first of all, I think the first step is realizing, hey, I'm in a bad spot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those disciplines that we have in our Christian life that we've developed in the past, if it's if it's reading the Bible, you don't feel like reading it, sit down and read it. If you don't feel like singing, what do?
You sing anyway.
You sing anyway.
Sing till your heart starts changing, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And the fellowship is a big part of it too.
Yeah.
I just had the thought, and now it's gone.
Yeah. I think. Go ahead.
No, it's this old picture. I've heard this. I grew up in a Baptist church. I don't know if y'all heard this a lot, but it's that the whole saying that God doesn't move, we move.
Right.
So you got to start moving back towards God.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he's still the same.
He's still the same.
Yeah,
He hasn't
true.
changed. But did you have your thought? Or
No,
you want
go
me to
ahead.
go before
Go
I
ahead.
forget?
No, go ahead.
So, okay, like in a regular relationship, because a lot of things does it make sense in real life, and so in a marriage relationship, we have, we have Sarah and I will talk about the good old days sometimes, and like, oh, remember when we used to do this, and and that sparks good feelings. Now, those are just good feelings. Now, it doesn't necessarily change anything, but I think it's good for us to remember those things. And the same things. I remember Thursday, Terry and I were downstairs waiting for you guys to be done talking, and so he was dead tired. But we just started talking about the years back and certain songs that we really liked and really enjoyed, and so I started playing one, whatever, and it was like reliving some of those good old times in the past. And I know
It's amazing how a song can bring you back to a place in time.
Absolutely,
I know.
good and bad.
Yeah.
But it was like, this was a good time. And I was like, oh, yeah, that can spark something and be like, oh, I remember that was like, and let me sing that song, or let me go back to that place. I'm not saying we should seek a feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's a dangerous search. But it still is a reminder, one of those things. I think there was a passage in Isaiah or something to go back to like the old paths or something like that. And I'm just making stuff up.
I don't know where it is, but there is one about the old path.
Yes, yes, but the old ways and remember. There's something in the good book about remembering things.
Well, the Bible has a lot to say about things to remember.
Yes.
So the Israelites were told to remember different things from all the deliverances that God had brought
That's
them
why they
out
have a lot of their feasts and a
Right.
lot of their things to remember. That's why I have ice cream night to remember.
Yeah, and so we too should remember, and I think I've never done this, but I would like to, journal like answers to prayer and, just things that God, sometimes you just have a thought that God kind of puts on your heart, your mind, whatever. And so sometimes, if you have that, it's good to look back and like, wow, like here I remember like God did answer that prayer and God did this. So when you're going through a dry time or a cold time or whatever,
Go back and read that.
When you look at all that God's done, and it's like, because there are other times where you're like, God is so good,
Right.
and it's all fresh and it's all just, so alive. And it's like, but if you, in the cold times, you can look back and remember that. It's like, okay, wow, it can help you get to where you need to be. And I think intentionality here is actually, something that's really needed. It was kind of weird in the acronym there, but I think, sometimes just taking the right steps. It's like, okay, well, I don't know about all the feelings. I don't know if this is going to get me where I need to be, but, it's like, I have the next couple hours. I have work to do. I'm going to put in my earbuds. So let me go and choose to listen to some good music. Let me go and choose to listen to a sermon or something that's going to encourage me in my faith. And when it comes to community, I think is so important, and being around other believers. And sometimes, I've had people ask me, so, what have you been studying, or what's God been showing you lately? And it's like, we should all, as believers, be ready to answer that question with something encouraging, something to spur somebody else on, because they might be in a place where they're kind of struggling and they're kind
need
of,
something.
they're holding out for a lifeline, like, help me, And it's like, if I can turn and say, well, actually, I was just listening to this, or I was just reading this, and, whatever. And it's like, and that's the point of believers coming together, is everything's supposed to be done for edification. So hopefully when we're with other believers, we're encouraging them.
Yep.
We're saying, look at this, look what God did here. And we're, that's what the body of Christ is designed to do, and it works beautifully when we actually do our part. Each of us,
She's not doing so bad considering she said she wasn't going to talk.
Yeah, so let's go back to the examples you came from the word drift. So and look at them. So distractions.
Yeah.
So what do you do about distractions? Well, first of all, you got to identify them, right?
You do have to identify
what you got to do. Set some
you
priorities.
deceiving
I am
yourself?
stepping on my cord, making it out of my head. I'm distracted.
That's right.
So you got to be able to identify what those are. But what are the things in your life that's taking up time that aren't beneficial?
Right.
And you got to identify those, work on removing that, and
Are you willing to do
replacing it.
that? Right.
Are you willing to do it?
Right.
The second one was repenting from sin, right?
Right.
Obviously, in any relationship, the first step's going back and saying, here's where I was wrong.
Right. Yeah.
With God, that's going to be the same thing. You got sin in your life, you got something that's
That should be first, but it doesn't work in the acronym.
it doesn't work in the
That
acronym,
should be
right?
first.
But you got to go back and get that right.
Yeah.
Intentional
sin.
sin.
Yeah.
You got to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just got to stop.
If you need us to tell you that, you're in trouble. Okay,
Right.
I think that's
Yeah.
obvious. But
Yeah. Now help me with the F and the T because I forgot.
Fake fellowship.
Fake fellowship. All right. So we're going around, we're putting on a mask, we're trying to pretend that we're happy.
Yeah.
You're miserable.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
real.
We're always going to be miserable.
Yeah.
You basically just got to be real. You got to come to a realization. You got to come to a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be,
Yeah.
and whatever that is, you know, whatever steps that takes. And then the T?
Treasuring something or someone more than Jesus.
So basically, like the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something in your way.
Something's in the way.
Yeah.
Keeping
And that's where I think we each have to, we always have to look at our own lives, the things that are filling our time, the people that we have in our lives. I always talk to the kids, like you have to evaluate like the people in your life. Is this a positive or a negative,
Right.
And that's the same for books, podcasts, movies, and like whatever it is that's in your life. It's like, okay, well, this is taking this much time or space in my life. And
It's either pointing you to Christ or pointing you away.
yeah. And I'm like, and if you choose to, this isn't pointing me to Christ, and you choose to keep indulging in that, well, what do you expect? Of course you're not going to get to a better place, know?
And if you're dwelling on the feelings, of this, I just don't feel like it. Admit that.
Yeah.
God say, I don't feel like it, and be honest with God about how you're feeling, so that He can actually come and work on you. Because that's the job of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
the Holy Spirit's going to draw you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the feelings will always come. If you've had a relationship issue, you know that it's like right away, like I have to go talk to her and make things right. My feelings aren't going to be there right away. Like, I just really feel like doing this. Mm-hmm. But once you start doing the right things and you start going, the feelings are going to follow no matter what,
right.
So don't worry about the feelings. Like, but those are definitely indicators. Feelings can be an indicator. Yeah. Like if there are no feelings in your relationship to your wife, that's a sign, good or bad, but same thing with Christ. If nothing like gets you going, that's a sign, It's not that we should seek that, but it's definitely a sign.
Yeah.
So when the temperature out there is freezing and you're trying to dig in the cold dirt and it's just not going anywhere, which we've been doing, just realize, okay, spring's coming, summer's on its way, but what are you going to do for it? So that's kind of the thing is like pay attention to these details. And don't let them move on if that's what you want, obviously. Yeah. So, anyways.
Well, and one more verse I have out of Matthew 24. Can you think of any verse out of
that's
Matthew
the end
20?
times.
So basically, it's one of the signs of the end that it says
the love of many will grow cold.
The love of many shall wax cold, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Yeah.
Right.
So
because it's usually sin. Sin is usually at the heart of it.
Yeah.
But sin doesn't just show its ugly head right away. It slowly creeps in, and then we put something ahead of Christ, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So pay attention. You just got to learn to pay attention.
Learn to pay attention.
Yes, just learn to pay attention. All right. Well, you talked a lot more.
The Mike Charleston Show.
All right. We are back, and it's game time with Elisabeth, right?
Yep.
So what do you got? You said it's like the match game. We got to...
Yeah, it's called...
It's
called Which Book?
Which book?
Yeah. So I'll just be like, which book is...
We got a 1 in 66 chance, right?
That's a good way to put it.
It's not a very good chance, but I think we got this. I think we got this. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Which book...
All right, we got it.
Yeah. Which book mentions Moses the most?
Oh, Moses the most. Okay, is this a trick question? Because it's got to be Exodus, right? I mean,
you would think.
How could it not? Maybe Psalms?
We'll go with Exodus.
Exodus. Okay, we're going to Exodus.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's Exodus with 261.
Wow. Okay. What was second place?
I think it was Numbers.
Wow. Okay. Good. Wait, we got that one right.
All right. Which book mentions Israel the most?
Oh, that's a good one. My initial guess would be Psalms because it's a huge book. Just because it's a huge book. But it could be like Deuteronomy, maybe Numbers.
Numbers and Deuteronomy would be where I would go, yeah. I don't
Numbers and Deuteronomy. I'm going to go with Psalms.
No, not Psalms.
No Psalms?
I'm going to go Deuteronomy.
Hey, Chuck's going with Deuteronomy.
It's Numbers.
Numbers.
Closer.
Yes, yes. We both
In
mentioned
Numbers, it's 204.
204. Psalms is how many?
I don't remember.
Yeah, okay.
Not that many, though.
Yeah,
it's not that
No,
many.
it's like one
Whatever.
or two or something. I don't know.
Maybe
So
it's Jacob.
it used to be, and this may not be a bad thing to start over again. It used to be where you would read through Psalms and Proverbs on a regular basis, like with the kids. Actually, at one point, somewhere back there, I actually recorded a lot of it because I was gonna be away for whatever reason. But yes, I read through Psalms a lot.
Okay.
It's not there a lot.
Okay. Well, Jacob is maybe. I don't know. Okay.
All right. Which book mentions the Antichrist the most?
The Antichrist. Okay. Well, initially, you've got to think it's a Revelation, right?
Okay. So, what book
so-
mentions the word?
The
Antichrist?
word?
Yes.
Antichrist?
Yeah.
Well, okay, because Antichrist is in Thessalonians, I think. The spirit of Antichrist is Timothy also. Matthew, maybe? Matthew. I'm going to think I think it's Timothy or Thessalonians. Is it an Old Testament book? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I don't think it is. I don't know.
So now we got a 1 in 39 chance. Okay.
I would have to agree with you. I don't think Matthew. I don't think Jesus really mentions it in Matthew. So, I would say
Let's go with Timothy.
Let's go with Timothy.
Thessalonians?
Yeah.
Timothy? One of those?
It's neither.
okay.
It's
Titus?
no,
Yeah,
it's
with-
1 John.
Oh, the spirit of Antichrist. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
and it's only in 1 John and 2 John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not in there much. I know that.
Yeah, no.
Right. So, okay. That was a good one. That was tough.
Which book mentions Jesus the most?
Oh, goodness. Okay. It's not in the Old Testament.
No,
So
we're back
we
to
got
39.
that. It's
The
got to
word
be
Jesus?
Yes.
About word.
It's got to be Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. So John.
John. We got to go John.
I was like, John. It says the Son. He refused to. He like talks like the light. He doesn't say Jesus a lot. I would like to. I think it's Matthew. You think it's John?
No, I'm just thinking John was the beloved. He was the
Right.
closest to him. So, but you're right. He may use. You're right. He does use other ways of referring to Jesus.
I think Matthew.
I wonder if it's one of actually Paul's writings.
They're not that long of books, though.
No, they're not.
I think it's Matthew. What do you guys say? Chuck
You
doesn't
think
know.
it's Matthew? I'll go with you. Matthew's
Okay,
fine.
Matthew.
That's a good one.
It's John.
Oh,
Yeah, John.
245.
Go with the right one first.
Oh, I know. Don't listen to me. I'm going to lead you astray.
I'm pretty sure the second one is Matthew. Though.
Yeah. Well, I figured like John, like he does refer to him in
you
many
threw me
different
off
ways.
with that one.
I
Yeah, it's
know. I was persuading you the wrong way. Shame on me. Okay.
All right. Which book has the most metaphors?
Oh my goodness.
This one was, it's whatever.
I mean, what book has the most metaphors? I would guess Psalms, just because of the nature of the book. Maybe Proverbs. I mean, a metaphor is got to be in Psalms. Maybe Revelation, because Revelation has a lot of metaphors.
Revelation, but then you got Christ taught in proverb. I mean, in parables.
Yeah.
So
No, I think it's got to be Psalms. Psalms or Revelation, it's got to be. But don't let me lead you astray, Chuck.
all right, I'm gonna go different with you just to see
Okay.
if it's Christ. I'm gonna go Matthew.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to say Psalms.
It's Psalms.
Yes.
There you
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I used ChatGPT and I was trying to figure out because it just gave very vague answers.
Yes.
And then I was like, what about Revelation? And it was like, oh, yeah. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah?
Oh boy,
Really?
so this could not be right. Okay.
no, but in all, Psalms had the most.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
that makes sense.
Good. That's a tough one. Metaphors. Wow. Okay.
All right. Which book has the most chapters other than Psalms?
What book has the most chapters? Isaiah has
Isaiah's
like
where I went
66,
to.
right? Mm-hmm. And I think that is the most.
I agree. I think that's the most.
Other
I'll
than-
say
other than-
Isaiah.
Other than Psalms.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's Isaiah.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, let's go with Isaiah.
Yeah. It's Isaiah.
All right. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Which book records the most miracles?
Okay. So this is an interesting one because you got Elisha and Elijah in the Old Testament, and that was in like Kings or something
Yes,
like
yeah, it was
that.
in Kings,
Okay.
yeah.
So that was a lot of miracles because one did 7, the other one did 14. There's 21 right there. But Jesus did a lot of miracles. How many miracles did Jesus do? And which book? Which book did he do the most?
But then you also have all the ones surrounding Moses and the Exodus too.
Oh yeah, man, those are miracles. You're talking about like the natural miracles.
The natural miracles.
There's 10 right there, at least.
At least, but I mean, then after
the rock,
you leave and you get out.
So because of Elijah, I don't know, man. This is a hard one. So what are you saying? Either Exodus, Kings. Can I just say Kings?
Like first and second Kings.
Matthew, Mark, Luke. John didn't
Not
record
so
as many
much,
miracles.
no.
Mark did. So Luke did too. If I go in New Testament, it's got to be like
I would probably go Luke in the New Testament, but
I'm gonna say Kings because of Elijah and Elisha.
Well, I'm gonna throw down and go with Moses and the Exodus.
Moses. Okay,
All
what
right.
is it?
Okay, so it's Exodus.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Because I was doing just one book, but if I was doing both of Kings,
it would have been both
It would
Kings.
have been there. There you go.
Okay, because I said Kings.
And for the New Testament, it's Matthew.
It was Matthew. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a tough one because I was instinctively thinking of New Testament, but then I was like, oh, wait a minute. You do have Moses, and then you do have Elijah and Elisha.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
All right,
You got
next
one more?
question. Yes, this is the last one.
Okay.
Which book or books contain Jesus' prayer in Gethsemane?
This is terrible. I should know this. Contains his prayer, like my God, but not my God, my God. Wow, it contains his prayer. Well, it's not John. I know it's not John.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's not John.
Okay, right, it's not John. So it's got to be Matthew, Mark, Luke. But is it in all of them? Is it in just Luke or is it Matthew? I don't know.
I mean, I would think Luke would have it. Luke was.
Can you give us a hint?
Matthew and
Is it
Luke
in
would
more
be the
than
two
one?
that would
It's
jump.
in more than one.
Yeah. Is it more than 2?
Yeah, it's more than 2.
It's Matthew, Mark, and Luke. So it's the 3. It's in all of the other ones. Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. She cheated there for us. That's all right. That's all right. So, all right. Well, thank you, Elisabeth. And I hope the listeners out there did a better job than we did because we didn't do so good. So, all right. Thank you.
Music with Sarah.
What song do you like?
All right, babe. This is the song of the week. Do I know this song?
You do know this
I
song.
do know it. I think
have
I do.
Sung it many, many, many times and played it many, many times. This is called Praise Your Name by Corey Voss and I guess Madison Street Worship. When I looked it up, I found that out. I always just thought it was Corey Voss. But anyway, so that's who wrote it. And this song is from 2019. So I guess that makes it,
6 years old.
6 years old. Yeah, good math.
So is it a classic now?
It's a classic.
It's a classic.
Anyway.
Some people may never even heard it yet, so it's new to them.
Yeah, it could be new to a lot of people. But
There was a story of, I think it was your brother-in-law, which would be my brother-in-law too. But it was, he was like reading old news and, his dad. So it was Josh's dad. And he was reading the old newspaper and they're like, why are you reading this old newspaper? It's old news. He's like, well, it's new news to me. So if you're listening to this for the first time, it's a new song to you.
Exactly. So this song is, it kept going through my head as we were talking about this show and getting ready for it, whatever, because the chorus says, I'm going to sing my way out of the valley. I'm going to shout.
Get distracted?
Yeah, sorry. And the whole point of this song is that I'm going to praise your name no matter what.
Yep.
So it's like, yes, we go through these cold times. Yes, we go through these valleys. We go through these times where things aren't working the way that we think that they should, when I don't feel the way that I should. But the point is, I'm going to praise your name anyway. And it's kind of got this feel to me of just like, I'm going to push through and I'm going to praise him anyway. And then what happens is, all the time, every time, is that we're changed, because praising God is what we were designed to do. And when we do what we were designed to do, it changes us. And anyway, so it's one of those that I don't know how to stop singing it. Like, I just keep singing.
Well, I could
this
just interrupt
song.
you and you'd stop.
Oh, okay, well, there's
Well,
that.
it's your video. Something you're like a second behind. So
Oh, okay.
go ahead.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, you are behind.
But he talks about a lot of different things. So there's a lot of fear mentioned. Then there's it goes through this bridge where it says, fear and depression, shame and confusion, you have to bow. All lesser things that demand my attention.
Right.
Which to me is like, things
what
that
we're talking about?
distractions and things that come in our lives. And it's like, you have to bow. Basically, I'm not going to give in to those things. I'm not going to, yes, these things creep into our lives in a lot of different ways at times. But it's like, no, I'm not giving in to that. And I'm going to praise God anyway, even though these things try to creep in. They try to take over. They try to, fear is a real thing. Depression is a real thing. And these things want to take over.
Yep.
They want to take our love for God. They want to take our passion for God and basically overwhelm it with, ooh, look over here, look what's happening, look at all these bad things. And so I just think it's a great song to remind ourselves. Kind of like, again, one of those songs that I think it's like where we preach to ourselves.
Right.
I'm going to sing anyway. So yes, I'm in a valley. I'm in a place where it's not good, but I'm going to, and I picture myself, being at the bottom of this valley, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm here and it's not good, but what am I going to do? I'm just going to sing my way out. And I feel like it's a powerful thing to do when you look in the Bible, all the times that, we're told to sing and we're told to praise God and we're made to worship him. When we do that, I feel like every time it's like he gets us out of that valley
Sure.
and out of that place where we didn't want to be. So anyway, I think it's a great song. So
It's a good song. It's where exercising faith.
Yeah.
Because faith is not based on our feelings all the time. And there's times where we just don't feel like it, but we do it by faith anyways.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like we were talking about earlier, if there's sin or something in your
Right.
life, you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
But if it's just a lull or whatever, or because of circumstances, a bad situation is going on, and you're like, I'm gonna praise anyways.
Yeah.
It's easy to praise when it's good.
Yeah.
But the challenge is when it's when things aren't going well, are we going to praise?
Yeah.
So that's where the rubber meets the road, where the chili meets the cheese, right?
Absolutely. So if you do find yourself to be in a place where you feel like maybe your heart isn't as, on fire for God as it once was, or the passion isn't all there, or the excitement about the things of God, then go listen to this song and see if you don't start praising God, and if that doesn't bring change.
If it doesn't help just a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit, gotta help a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Can't hurt.
Can't hurt.
Unless you're just an old stooge and you're like, oh, modern music stinks. Like, get over yourself,
Yeah.
Praise your way out of the valley. So anyways, go check it out. It's called, I don't know what it's
Praise
called.
Your
Your
Name.
Name by Corey Voss and Madison Street Worship. I was trying to look on the video there. I didn't see the title. Oh, there it is. Praise Your Name.
Praise
so
Your Name.
Go check it out. YouTube, Apple Music,
Yeah,
Spotify,
it's on all
wherever
of
it
them.
is. So go check it out.
The Mike Charleston Show is brought to you by Fellowship of Believers. For more information, go to our website at fellowshipofbelievers.org. Thank you for listening. We hope we have encouraged you to stand strong in the Lord Jesus and grow in Him.